Hi everyone, Father Phil here. Hi, Father Phil here. I'm at Glendalough, a monastery that's over 1,000 years old. You can see here just over my shoulder that this is a valley that was carved out by the glaciers so that it's a large, wide valley. This monastery is founded by Saint Kevin, where he came to this place for solitude and to pray. There's tons of legends about him, and he was known as such a holy person that others came to join him, as happens so often in Christian history. In this place, this here, can I find it? You can barely see it, I think, but this is St. Kevin's Church. There is a monastery just here, and then a great tower just here behind me, where the monks right up at the top would copy manuscripts, ancient manuscripts of scripture. Glendalough was our first stop today as we headed from Dublin to Limerick. You can see the blue dot here is where we end the day. We'll take a closer look. That is Limerick. But we started the day in Dublin, where the red dot is. On our way out of town, we passed the Dublin Bay, where you can see a number of small watercraft with large freighters behind them. Dublin is apparently undergoing a great time of prosperity, and the freighters are coming in more and more quickly. Passing by Dublin Bay, we head quickly out into the country, where the land becomes just magical. I love this picture with the purple flowers in the front and that single weathered tree up at the top of the hill. Nearly everywhere you look, you can find ruins of some ancient story and new stories that are being created even today. Look at those lambs. Found out today, lambs are sheep that are a year old or younger. If it's older than a year, you call it mutton. Or I guess that's what you call it when you eat it. After a couple hours, we ended up here at Glendalough. Notice there the word Glendalough, L-O-U-G-H, is sometimes pronounced low in English, but here it's loch. This recreation of the community shows you what it might have looked like back in the day. When I took the video at the beginning of this, I was standing right at the upper left-hand corner of this image. I pointed at St. Kevin's Church, which is in the bottom left corner, and to the Cathedral there, which is in the very middle, and to the large tower. They call them round towers. There's 60 of them in Ireland, which you can see in the center top. St. Kevin lived 1,500 years ago, but the monastery buildings that we see now are just over 1,000 years old. You can see St. Kevin's Church there just up and to the right. To get there, we crossed over this river. I'll just let you listen to it for a moment. Coming closer to the community, we saw other buildings peeking over the trees until we passed into the center of the community, where the large tower stands some 300 feet tall, if I got the number correct. Here's St. Kevin's Church a little closer, and an image of the cathedral. All throughout the place, there are burial sites, which of course were not there originally, but being holy ground, people have chosen to be buried here over the last 200, 300, 400 years. I learned today that the Irish are Celtic, but that not all Celtics are Irish. The Celtics were people who lived all throughout northern and western Europe, and as the Roman Empire expanded through the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th century, the Celts got pushed further and further west until they ended up in Scotland and Ireland. Therefore, the Irish are Celtic, but so are the Scots and various other peoples in Europe. They have a theology of all things being tied together and connected, the earth and the sky, God and humanity and all living things. You could sense it everywhere that you go. earth and heaven almost connecting as one. Death and life being two sides of the same coin, connected fundamentally at their core. And so we see here a cross that as it has weathered, the stones have been shown that were inside of it as it was being made. A perfect image of the connection of all things. You just want to reach out and touch the ground, don't you? Seeing the same rocks on the ground that there were there on the cross. The same rocks that make up that tower and that are strewn across this country. The rocks that in some sense are alive as any other thing of God's creation. Well, as we headed out, I took a picture. I'm wearing my St. James shirt. Was proud to wear it today as we traveled through the country. Time to head off toward Limerick. On the way, the sun made a brief appearance. We haven't seen much of it. We found other little treasures. You wonder what stories they hold. A fascinating thing to me was that in the middle of the freeway, they didn't have large concrete barriers, but hedges. I thought that was just wonderful. And here we are approaching the Rock of Cashel, one of the most photographed places in all of Ireland. It is a great cathedral on the top of a large outcropping of limestone. The cathedral, of course, is the Cathedral of St. Patrick. It stands now in the very center of the city of Cashel, which of course is all down on a lower level, surrounding it on every side. The ruins of the place are just incredible. Again, 1,000 years old, this building. This was the time when the wind began to really beat us, and the weather started coming down hard. Heading into While we were here, we were told by people coming off of cruise ships that this huge storm is coming through Ireland, one so big that their captains are calling it a hurricane. So that's what we're feeling when you see the wind. By the way, the United Kingdom includes Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales. The British Isles are all 4 countries, including normal Ireland, and Great Britain is just Scotland, England, and Wales. Standing in the center of this cathedral, you could just imagine that you were there back in the day, in the middle of a worship service 1,000 years old. It seems so close in this place. Everything seems close here. The spirituality, the ancient people that lived here. You wonder who they were and what they were like and what they were thinking as they were carving and building these incredible places. The ruins here are so close that with the cathedral behind us, there's this incredible cross, but just to the right of the cross is yet another abbey. Incredible ruins in the shadow of ruins. We were told that there might even be an ancient tunnel between the two of them that would be able to keep people safe during Viking raids. Speaking of raids, in one of the digs here, they found these 2 spears from the Bronze Age, somewhere between 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. Human beings made these weapons. Were they for animals? Were they for each other? You find yourself wondering. Leaving the Rock of Cashel, we left a bit of that weather behind and saw just a little bit of sun again, thank goodness. We even had the chance to see a couple rainbows today. That one there is right behind our bishop, who's taking a closer look. But the weather was coming. As we got to the hotel, the wind was really starting to blow. 31 miles an hour coming in from the south, they said. So we headed in for dinner. We'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless.